Alright, another crossover dress form of Vairina is here, so let's begin. But first, cards for the last few days. First off, let's start off with the Dragon Empire cards from Dokkovan. The first card being Drajewelled Mokohado. Grade 1, AK power and skills. Auto rearguard. When your unit is stood by card ability, cost retire this unit and draw one card. You can play this in Overlord, you can play this with Eugene for the most consistent decks to play this card with. You have options. Next, Gunshot of Dust Storm Adria. Grade 3, 30 power and skills. Act rearguard. If your Vanguard is Eugene, cost retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. A 1-for-1 trade before retire. It's pretty effective, but you do lose one card, but for Eugene's case, you can replace that unit. Finally, for the last of the Eugene cards, Raider of Dust Storm Oswald. Grade 1, 8 power and skills. Auto rearguard. At the end of battle, this unit boosts a Eugene Vanguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, while they have no rearguards, cost counterblast 1, discard a card, stand your Vanguard, and until the end of the turn, change his critical and drive check to 1. So now you just basically gave Eugene a restand option if you can nuke their field, which is possible for Eugene for one, but in Premium's case it could go even crazier with Ziegenberg, because remember, Heart card is also the name of your Vanguard, which can actually create some infant stand loops considering that this is at the end of the battle that this unit boosts a Eugene. So if you stand trigger this card and boosts your Vanguard again with a restanding Vanguard, things can get crazy. And then for a boss unit of Dear Days, which will also show up in set 8, Dark Lord of Hades, Bolformides. Grade 3, 30 power and skills. Auto Vanguard. When this card attacks the Vanguard, cost put 2 grade 3 rearguards into your soul, draw a card. This unit gets plus 10k power to the end of that battle for every 3 grade 3 cards in your soul. That's fine, it's just now a Dark States deck that focuses around grade 3, so you just have to build a deck around it, and this doesn't have a ride line, so keep that one in mind. Anyway, second skill, Count Vanguard. This unit gets all the following abilities depending on the number of grade 3 cards in your soul. So first skill feels it, second skill just helps out, even boosts even further. If you got 3 or more, all your grade 3 units get shield plus 5k and boost. If you got 6 or more, during the battle this card attacked, if your opponent would call cards from their hand to the Guardian Circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time. This is Dark States, there's a lot of soul charging, and the first skill helps you put those grade 3s in a consistent way enough. This is basically just a generic boss unit that you can play for any Dark States deck, but just do keep in mind because of certain locked grade 3s that you have to play in any Vanguard deck, riding this could actually hinder you. Just keep that in mind. Finally, the last card for Dokkovan, which is a promo for across Epic, Broken Toys, which is for Tamiura. And it's a grade 1 or more order, and you play it with your Vanguard as Tamiura. Look at top 7 cards of your deck, choose 1 Rarumi and 1 Rarami, each from among them, or from your drop zone, and put them to your soul and then shuffle your deck. If both of them are in your soul, you also draw a card. There's already a good amount of consistent ways to get those two, but this is just adding more consistency. And then for some more product support or blitz support, we start off with a double rare Blitz Mechanic Ishikura. Grade 1, 80 power and skills. Act rearguard. If you did not operate a product this turn, cost counterblast 1, rest this unit, choose a product from your order zone and operate it. It's just more ways to operate something for once a turn. Of course you're going to play it. Next, a triple rare Blitz Security Perfect. Grade 2, 10 power and skills. Auto, when this card is placed on rearguard, cost counterblast 1, put a grade 2 or greater set order card from your drop zone to the bottom of the deck and draw a card. Basically, a good number of Branky decks could actually use this. For the Blitz deck, they're going to put their product to the drop zone and then put it to the grade 3 mobile fortress, so the grade 2 can easily be in your drop zone. You also got Orpheus Regis, which you're going to be discarding your orders anyway, and you might have too many in the drop zone, so you can always recycle for that as well, but most likely you don't want to because you want to use it with Orpheus Regis. Some cases maybe Eva if they're forced damage zone and then put to the drop zone. You do have some options with this card, and it's generic. And now to the Tuesday stream itself. It's just booster set cards themselves. So we're going to start off with Dark States with Falcate Performer. It's a grade 1 weight power and skills. Auto rearguard. When this card boosts, choose 1 card from drop zone. If your soul does not have a card with the same grade as that card, put it to your soul. Generic choice soul charging. Very nice. Especially with Drajewelled's case, you do want those different grades, so that different grade thing is not much of a problem when it comes to this card. But a generic choice soul charge is always really good. Next, Demonic Stone Dragon Rokugurd. Grade 2, 10 power and skills. Auto rearguard. Once per turn, when this card attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if your soul has 4 or more cards with different grades, plus 10k power until the end turn. 20k beater, not bad, especially because in the anime it showed restand for quite a while, and we finally got the reveal with the second skill, Auto Rearguard. When you soul blast 4 or more cards at the same time with the cost of your abilities of the Vanguard, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost counterblast 1, stand this unit. Pretty useless in Bruce, considering that this will just be a grade 2 attack again type card, and Bruce stands their whole front row anyway, but obviously meant for Drajewelled, being a 20k attacker that can attack twice. And it would seem that there are a lot of decks that gets rearguard support that can stand themselves just because. But regardless, of course you're going to play this in Drajewelled. And now to the new Prayer Dragon Break Equip Dragon Urbargo. Grade 2, tank your power and skills. Auto, when this card becomes an original jest, costs counterblast 1, soul charge 1, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. Pretty good, and the soul charge is really good to help out for the next card, because it's the anime card reveal, Flaring Cannon Equip Baur Vairina. Grade 3, 30 power, and it crosses overdress on top of Trickstar with a Prayer Dragon. Its skill is Act Rearguard. When this card is in cross overdress state, cost Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. And yes, you can stack this skill. Sure, Soul Blast 2 can be a little costly, but it makes sense if you can stack it. Especially for the second skill, where Auto Rearguard. When this cross overdress state unit attacks the Vanguard, this card gives us 2k power into the end of the battle for each of your opponent's open rearguard. And then, if your opponent has 1 or less rearguards, cost counterblast 1, into the end of the battle this card gets drive -1, but this card gets to perform drive checks. Yep, more rearguards with drive checks. Sure, the condition is going to be a little difficult considering your opponent will need to have 1 or less rearguards, and it is possible early game for the most part considering that this is not even grade 3 lock for 1. In later game, it might be more difficult to use the second skill for 1 or less rearguards, but this is overall not too bad, and it's also a nice Jiva target for a restand because it's another mass power unit, and if you can perform the drive check again, that can be quite nasty. So overall, not too bad. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about the new Drajewelled support along with the new Baur Vairina? I mean, Drajewelled is just introduced in this set. I'm just surprised that they actually give a lot of good cards for Drajewelled right off the bat. But it makes sense because technically Drajewelled was introduced around set 6 time, but they didn't give the official one until set 7. As for the new Baur Vairina, it's just pretty nice. It's okay, not like the best or worst card, it just depends on scenario. In a way, Baur Vairina acts like a Vanguard on a rearguard, and that's kind of most Vairinas overall in my opinion. They look like Vanguard units on a rearguard, but Baur Vairina actually feels like a Vanguard unit on a rearguard. It just depends on what scenario you are at with that card, because depending on timing, you might not be able to nuke enough of your opponent's rearguards, and the Soul Blast 2 can be a little heavy, but it's overall not too bad. But other than that, that's it for this, and see y'all next time.